Chapter 21 The Prince's Integrity. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wishful thinking, I am the Prince of Daxia, how can I beg for mercy from you evil sections? Qin Zhonyan scolded, he would rather fight to the death than retreat. As he said that, he also took out a token of the prince. With the help of this token, he could bless himself with a part of the luck of the dynasty, barely reaching the cultivation base of the 9th level of the Luanhai realm. He, the more you struggle, the more excited I am. Ji Qin smiled enchantingly, and then ordered, those two old bastards are killed, His Royal Highness, spare his life. She wants to train Qin Zhonyan well, let the prince of the great Xia dynasty become his slave. It is good. Several other members of the exorcist faction nodded, and then shook the ghost weapon, making a strange rhythm. After hearing the melody, those ancient corpses rioted one by one, killing Qin Zhonyan and the others. Boom boom. A fierce battle broke out immediately. The two royal family priests are both strong men at the peak of the 9 heavens of the Luanhai realm, and they used powerful martial arts as soon as they made a move, trying to pave a way for Qin Zhonyan, but those ancient corpses were not to be outdone. Although they are all dead and their movements are stiff, they were strong in the Purple Mansion realm before they were alive, and now they can still use some of the martial arts before birth, and their combat power is comparable to the strong in the 9th heaven of the Luanhai realm. Boom, boom, boom. Different spiritual skills exploded in the sky, and the dazzling light illuminated the night sky. Bursts of energy fluctuations, like ripples, spread to the surroundings. Occasionally, ancient corpses were bombarded to the ground, directly smashing out a large pit with a radius of hundreds of feet, and large areas of trees were smashed to pieces. But they were not afraid of pain and death, and immediately under the control of the ancient corpse sect, they soared into the sky and once again fought with the two priests of the royal family. With the luck of the imperial dynasty, Qin Zhonyan, who was promoted to the Luanhai realm, was covered in golden light, like a real dragon, and fought with the ancient corpses that came besieging him. The fighting situation became more intense for a while, however, as time went by. Qin Zhonyan and the others quickly fell into a disadvantage. These ancient corpses were numerous and powerful, and they attacked tirelessly, coupled with the fact that the ancient corpse of the strong Taishan royal family in the city had also rushed back. It was impossible for Qin Zhonyan and the others to resist. Pft. Not long after, an ancient corpse took a black-robed priest's punch, and pierced the black-robed priest's shoulder with a rotten palm that only had bones left. Get out of here! The black-robed priest let out a roar, and punched the ancient corpse again, almost falling apart. However, his left shoulder was bleeding profusely, his injuries were serious, and his combat strength dropped instantly. At this time, the battle situation was completely reversed. The advantages of these ancient corpses became more and more obvious. Boom, boom, boom. Not long after, Qin Zhonyan and the three of them were hit by the powerful martial arts of the ancient corpse and fell to the ground. Each of them was seriously injured and vomited blood. His face was extremely pale, lost combat effectiveness. Ji Qin and those members of the exorcism faction also fell to the ground one after another. His Royal Highness, my most beloved ancient corpse was almost smashed by you. I changed my mind. I want to kill you and refine it into an ancient corpse, and then slowly train it. Ji Qin's eyes were full of coldness and anger. The ancient corpses she brought today are already half of the foundation of the entire corpse exorcism sect today, and she was extremely angry that Qin Zhonyan and the others had beaten so many of them. As she said that, she slowly pulled out the long knife at her waist. Killing intent surged in her eyes. Hey, the plan is going to succeed. When the war breaks out between the two dynasties, I will definitely be able to take advantage of the situation to rise up. The deep enmity with the great Xia dynasty will be settled little by little in the future. Seeing this, the corpse exorcists were all extremely excited. It seems that everyone has seen the scene of the exorcism faction flourishing. Hey! The eyes of the two royal families were full of bitterness. They have tried their best, but they are no match for these ancient corpses. Am I going to die here? Qin Zhonyan, who was seriously injured, said with despair in his eyes. He still has a lot to do, and he is not reconciled to the fact that many reforms that benefit the people have not been implemented. More importantly, he was worried about Qin Feng. if he waited for someone else to ascend the crown prince, would he still treat him kindly? No one can save you today, go to hell. That the long knife in Ji Qin's hand was surging with aura, and she was about to chop it out, killing Qin Jianyan and the three of them. However, at this moment, a dazzling light in the distance suddenly shot out. Shoo! A sword of wind, like a shooting star, 3,000 miles away, he came with the supreme sword intent. What is that? Ji Qin, who was about to make a move, felt the terrifying sword intent, and immediately turned pale. At this moment, she felt the danger of death. She hurriedly held a knife to block in front of her. Pfft! However, the long knife in Ji Qin's hand broke instantly, and the sword spirit of the wind pierced her chest directly, and scarlet blood spurted out. Then she fell heavily to the ground. Ji Qin kept her eyes wide open until she died. She never imagined that she was killed by a sword that came from nowhere, only one step away from the prosperity of the corpse exorcism sect. What? That the other members of the corpse exorcism sect were all shocked. However, they reacted quickly, and hurriedly shook the ghost device, emitting a strange rhythm, controlling the ancient corpses and letting them protect themselves. It's a pity that these ancient corpses only have the strength of the 9th level of the Luanhai realm. How can they resist this terrifying sword spirit? Puff, puff. This sword soul was like entering an uninhabited land, and immediately eliminated all the ancient corpses and the members of the corpse exorcism sect, and it turned into wisps of wind sword intent and dissipated between heaven and earth. This is. Qin Jianyan was stunned. What just happened? Why was it that he was going to be killed? But in an instant, all the members of the exorcist sect were killed. This is the sword intent of the wind, and the one who made the move is Prince Mu, that the blue-robed priest exclaimed. How is this possible? Prince Mu is clearly in the palace, and this place is 3,000 miles away from the palace. How does he know that we are in danger? Qin Jianyan said in bewilderment. This. The blue-robed priest was also speechless. Even if it is a strong person in the Purple Mansion, it is impossible to know what happened 3,000 miles away. No matter what, these exorcists have been killed now. Our top priority is to get out of here as soon as possible. The black-robed priest said in a deep voice. Qin Jianyan nodded. Afterwards, the three of them did not continue to stay here, and flew towards the direction of the imperial city. Along the way, Qin Jianyan and the others did not encounter any danger again. He returned to the imperial city smoothly. As soon as he returned to the palace, Qin Jianyan rushed to the imperial study. At this time, Emperor Xia was listening to the reports of several ministers. When he saw Qin Jianyan, although he was happy, he was puzzled and did not understand why he returned to the city early, and Qin Jianyan didn't hide anything, and immediately told Emperor Xia everything that happened. Many strong men and important ministers present couldn't help but gasp when they heard his plot of exorcising corpses. This plot was too vicious, and when Qin Jianyan talked about the sword soul of the wind, he was also in doubt. 3,000 miles away, how could Prince Mu know that you are in danger? Old Qin couldn't help but wonder. Unless he leaves a mark on you, he can know your whereabouts and safety at any time, but this possibility is too small. He said it very euphemistically, but in fact there is no such possibility at all. Reality is merciless. Prince Mu is already a strong man in the Purple Mansion realm. For a strong man of that level, nothing can improve his cultivation, and extending his lifespan is more important. How could it be possible to attach so much importance to a prince and leave a mark on him, not to mention the crown prince, even the Emperor Xia, that Prince Mu might not pay so much attention to it? This. I don't know too well. Qin Jianyan shook his head with a bitter face. But apart from Prince Mu, who else has the sword intent of wind and is willing to save the prince? A minister couldn't help asking. When he asked this question, everyone present fell into silence. They also couldn't think of who else could be besides Prince Mu. Emperor Xia also couldn't think of the reason. He was silent for a while, and said helplessly, Okay, besides Prince Mu. It is impossible for anyone else to save the prince this time. Don't think about it yet. Now that the corpse exorcists came out to cause trouble again, this time they must be made to pay the price. Last time, the corpse exorcist had been lurking in the palace for decades, but he temporarily put it on hold because the matter over the Nanman side had not been resolved. This time, he must not allow the exorcist sect to act recklessly. Many ministers nodded their heads when they heard the words, and began to discuss how to deal with the exorcists. Chapter 22. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A few days later, among the exorcising corpse sect, the suzerain Yu Cheng and others in the main hall were all overjoyed. The people they sent out finally found one of the corpse hiding places in the past when the sect was strong, where dozens of ancient corpses that had been refined were hidden, although with the passage of time, many of them have completely rotted and are unusable, and the remaining ones are far from as strong as the peak, but at least they can display the first-tier purple mansion realm or even stronger combat power. As long as Yin Qi is injected into these ancient corpses, they can be awakened and controlled. With these powerful ancient corpses, there is absolutely no problem in leveling the entire Taishan dynasty. Yu Cheng, the patriarch of the corpse exorcist sect, said very excitedly. Many other elders were also very happy. The hatred of so many years can finally be repaid in their generation. But those ancient corpses need a lot of Yin Qi to wake them up and control them to fight. The Yin Qi stored in our sect may not be enough to wake them all up. The great elder of the corpse exorcism sect was a little worried. The Yin energy stored in their sect can at most awaken 3 or 4 ancient corpses. Don't worry about this. Didn't Ji Qin go to kill the prince of the great Xia dynasty? Once the 2 dynasties break out in war, a lot of Yin Qi will be generated, enough for us to activate all the ancient corpses. The suzerain of the exorcising corpse faction said that he was not worried at all. However, there is no news about Ji Qin so far, so there must be something wrong with the plan, right? That the great elder of the exorcising corpse sect was still very worried. Recently he has been feeling a little uneasy. However, other concerns were ignored by others. Don't worry. Ji Qin has taken away more than half of the powerful ancient corpses in our sect. There will be absolutely no problems with the plan. Beside Qin Zhonyan, there are only 2 enshrined protections from the 9th level of the Luanhai realm, and all of our ancient corpses have the strength of the 9th level of the Luanhai realm. It is not easy to kill him. There is no news about Ji Qin yet. It is estimated that Qin Zhonyan was taken to another place and tortured slowly. Isn't that what she likes? That everyone felt that the great elder was getting old, so he was also timid, and that's why he was so cautious. Hearing the words, the great elder of the exorcising sect could only nod his head, thinking that he might really be thinking too much. With so many powerful ancient corpses in Ji Qin's hands, it was impossible for anything to go wrong, but at this moment, someone from outside hurriedly came to the main hall. Sect Master, it's not good. It's not good. That he ran in while talking, as if something bad happened. Hustle and panic, how decent it is. Hearing the words, Yu Cheng scolded, if you have something, please speak slowly. Report to Suzerain, just got the news that Ji Qin and the others were killed. That the man swallowed, and forced himself to speak calmly. As soon as this remark came out, all the faces of all the people present suddenly changed, wondering if they had heard it wrong. What did you say? That Yu Cheng was even more shocked. He grabbed the man's clothes and said angrily, Ji Qin and the others led more than half of the powerful ancient corpses in the sect. How could they be killed? That he doesn't believe it. Even if the mission fails, it's not like losing your life. This, subordinates don't know either. The man was startled, and said in a trembling voice, Ji Qin and the others are indeed dead. Together with the ancient corpses they brought, they were all burned in public by Genie Wei. Impossible. It's absolutely impossible. That the suzerain of the exorcising sect said in a deep voice, Third Elder, go and see if the news is true or not. It is good. The 3rd elder of the corpse expelling sect was in charge of intelligence matters, so he hurried out of the hall, but after a while, he came back, because dozens of people who were sent out to collect intelligence came back at this time, and all of them spoke in a unified way. He truthfully stated the authenticity of the news. Hearing what the 3rd elder said, the faces of the people present changed again. They were extremely shocked, and all of them were extremely ugly. Just now they spoke with certainty, thinking that the plan had no possibility of failure, but they did not expect that the current result is completely opposite to what they predicted, and the slap in the face came too fast. How could this be? At this moment, Yu Cheng's eyes were full of surprise. Ji Qin and more than half of the powerful ancient corpses in the sect were all gone. This was a huge blow to the newly emerging corpse exorcism sect. His heart was bleeding. According to the news, it seems that the one who made the move was the Purple Mansion realm powerhouse from the great Xia royal family. The third elder of the exorcism sect said in a deep voice. That purple man from the great Xia imperial family? The place where Ji Qin ambushed her was 3,000 miles away from the imperial city. How did he know that? Yu Cheng shouted loudly. It's not very clear. The third elder of the exorcising corpse sect said bitterly. Based on their information, they couldn't find such details. Hateful, Yu Cheng roared angrily, but at this time, even worse news came. Emperor Xia has ordered Jiniwei's governor to find the location of the Zongmen of the corpse exorcist sect within half a year and wipe them out in one fell swoop. Now Jiniwei is already recalling the spies deployed in the south one after another, searching for and arresting the disciples of the exorcist sect who are digging up corpses and gathering information. Sovereign, I'm afraid we can't stay here any longer. The great elder of the exorcising sect said in a deep voice. Now the powerful ancient corpses in the sect are all lost. If the Jinui knows our current location and the great Xia army comes to kill us, then we will be in danger. Pfft. Hearing this, Yu Cheng spat out a mouthful of blood in anger, and almost passed out. Today he was still ecstatic and thought that from now on, the corpse exorcist sect would rise up, but he didn't expect that even the newly built sect would have to give up now. It's like running away like a bereaved dog. I'm not reconciled. Yu Cheng gritted his teeth. Sect master, don't be angry. But the elders next to him quickly persuaded, we have now found a place where the sect used to hide corpses. Now we just need to hide and collect all kinds of Yin Qi secretly, and when the time comes to destroy the great Xia dynasty, it's not easy yet. Hearing what everyone said, Yu Cheng gradually calmed down the depression in his heart, nodded in agreement, and told all the disciples of the sect to leave here immediately and lurk around. After Qin Jianyan left the imperial study, he first went home and took a look at Qin Zining who had been parted for many years, and praised his daughter who had improved by leaps and bounds in cultivation. At the same time, let her guard against arrogance and impetuosity, and not take revenge just because she has been squeezed by other royal brothers and sisters. Then, in a few days, he quickly dealt with some matters in the family, and severely reprimanded and punished the two troublesome sons. Afterwards, they came to the imperial mausoleum to look for Qin Feng. Brother Huang has had a hard time in the imperial mausoleum these years. After seeing Qin Feng, Qin Jianyan couldn't help but said, in his opinion, it must be very difficult for Qin Feng to stay in this deserted imperial tomb without even the resources for cultivation. Fortunately, Qin Feng smiled lightly, not feeling bitter, and said, you must have encountered a lot of trouble when you went out to patrol these years. Qin Jianyan didn't hide it, because the whole dynasty knew about it, and Qin Feng would definitely know about it too. He told Qin Feng the truth about being ambushed by the exorcist sect, and expressed the entanglement in his heart, saying, although everyone thinks that the person who saved me was Prince Mu, I don't think so. Chapter 23 The White Fox is Back. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qin Jianyan never said such words to others, but only because he trusted Qin Feng the most. Why do you think the one who saved you was not Prince Mu? Qin Feng was startled, and said in doubt. Because, when the sword soul flew from a distance, I felt very familiar, not unfamiliar. Qin Jianyan pondered slightly, and said, it seems that it's not the first time I've seen that kind of sword intent, it's too familiar. But in fact, I haven't seen Prince Mu once since I was a child. It is impossible to be so familiar with his sword intent. He has always carried Qin Feng's small wooden sword with a wisp of sword intent with him, and his own swordsmanship has also been affected and tends to be the same. It was also because of this that after he saw the sword Soul of the Wind, he immediately felt some kind of inexplicable familiarity. Probably because you and Prince Mu are also related by blood, so you have a sense of familiarity. Qin Feng frowned slightly, and said slowly, however. Qin Jianyan shook his head. That sense of familiarity is not as simple as a simple blood relationship, but more like. He frowned and thought for a moment, then said, it's more like me and Brother Huang, face to face. Qin Feng was dumbfounded. Unexpectedly, the gift he gave Qin Jianyan finally made him doubt himself. Haha. Maybe I think too much. However, Qin Jianyan then laughed and said, besides Prince Mu, how could there be someone in the royal family who is in the Purple Mansion? Qin Feng also smiled and did not continue this topic. Afterwards, the two chatted about some recent events. Qin Jianyan also expressed his thoughts on reform, and Qin Feng occasionally expressed his opinions. In the next 2 years, good news continued in the palace. First, the Zonman of the corpse exorcist sect was discovered, and Qin Jianyan was ordered to lead his troops to pay it off. Later, several royal families enshrined it, and their cultivation bases broke through one after another, especially for those who practice swordsmanship. It is the most obvious. There were even 2 people who broke through from the 9th level of Luanhai realm to the 1st level of Zifu realm in one fell swoop. At this time, Qin Feng didn't understand these things, and he didn't care. During this period of time, he has cultivated his external incarnation to the peak. An avatar can already possess most of his cultivation base, and can also perform all his exercises. Although Qin Jianyan came back, the dynasty had a lot of things to deal with. In addition, Emperor Xia's health was gradually getting worse. He became more and more busy, and he didn't have much time to come to the Imperial Mausoleum. Just like in previous years, let Qin Zining occasionally chat with Qin Feng. Qin Feng, who had been sleeping for half a year, was awakened by the cold winter wind. Looking at the gloomy weather, he felt that it was going to snow again, so he got up and moved the rocking chair under the tree. But at this time, the little white fox who didn't know when came back was lying in the grass not far away. When he saw Qin Feng get up from the reclining chair, he couldn't help but shook his head. It's so lazy to be so weak and sleep all day. From Qin Feng's body, it couldn't detect the spiritual energy fluctuations, so it naturally thought that Qin Feng didn't have much cultivation. The only thing that made the little white fox more curious was why Qin Feng's cultivation base was so weak, and he could still sleep for several months, or even half a year without eating. Later it felt that Qin Feng was probably relying on pills to maintain himself. This made it feel that Qin Feng was even more lazy, and he didn't even bother to eat. Why are you back again? Qin Feng noticed the little white fox and said in doubt. The last time he woke up and saw that the little white fox was not there, he thought that the little white fox had left, but he didn't expect that after a few years, the little white fox came back again. When the little white fox heard the words, he ignored Qin Feng. In the past few years, it has gone out to many places, hoping to rely on its racial innate ability to find natural treasures, and speed up the recovery of its injuries and cultivation base. But those treasures of heaven, material, and earth are guarded by powerful monsters. Not only did it fail to get it, but it almost lost its life several times, and found that it didn't recover quickly after staying here to rest. It is too tired. So angry, that seeing the little white fox ignoring him, Qin Feng grabbed it with a smile. What, damn human, don't touch me. The little white fox, who was grabbed by the back of the neck by Qin Feng, struggled desperately. But it has no cultivation now, the injuries in its body have not recovered. It is just an ordinary fox. How could it break free from Qin Feng's grasp? He could only stare at Qin Feng with vicious eyes. What are you doing so fiercely? Qin Feng held the back of the little white fox's neck with his left hand, rubbed its little head with his right hand and said, I happen to be short of a pet here, let me see if you are female or male. As he spoke, he pulled the little white fox's hind legs apart and checked it out. But at this time, the little white fox's whole body was stiff, and his eyes were dull, as if he had encountered a thunderbolt from the clear sky. This bastard, what is he doing? At this moment, the little white fox felt that his innocence was gone, and what Qin Feng said next made the little white fox completely collapse. It's actually a female, that's fine. Qin Feng was a little disappointed, and said lightly, I don't like keeping this kind of female pet. It's too much trouble. Maybe when I go out for a walk, I will be pregnant when I come back. While speaking, he put the little white fox back to its original place, and the little white fox, who was in shock, finally came to his senses. At this moment, humiliation, shame, anger. Countless emotions all came out of her heart. She is a majestic princess of the fox family, but her body was completely seen by humans. She feels dirty. Beast! Beast! Scum! This princess must kill you today. Give you your ashes. The little white fox jumped up and slapped Qin Feng's body, trying to tear Qin Feng's body into thousands of pieces. However, in Qin Feng's view, her behavior was not aggressive at all, but more like a pet acting like a spoiled child. Stop messing around, I still have to practice. Although Qin Feng seemed to be sleeping, only he knew that he was actually cultivating heart. While speaking, he grabbed the little white fox and gently threw the little white fox into the grass far away. After falling to the ground, the little white fox rolled several times in a row. It was covered in broken grass and was in a state of distress. It looked as if it had been ruined just now, looking at Qin Feng, who was leisurely lying on the recliner with a resentful face. Damn beast! Scum! Beast! After my princess recovers, I will definitely not let you go. Be sure to press you to the ground and rub hard. The little white fox said viciously in his heart, a fox can be killed but not humiliated. But then, the white fox became a little sad. I was injured so badly, I don't know how many years it will take to recover. She couldn't help but look towards the direction outside the palace again, like the concubine of Sikhan in the Deep Palace. Half a year later, Qin Zining came to the imperial mausoleum to bid farewell to Qin Feng. She has reached the age to go out to practice. Qin Feng knew the news, but it is not surprising, these princes and princesses are going to go out to practice after all. Although there are many dangers outside, a flower that grows in the greenhouse has not experienced wind and rain, and if it encounters a little difficulty in the future, it may die young. Qin Feng told Qin Zining some things, such as not trusting strangers outside. Then she was also given a small sword pendant made of solid gold. There is a ray of wind sword intent inside. If there is any danger, Qin Feng can find it immediately. Chapter 24: The Unleashed Demon. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Almost half a year after Qin Zining left, the little white fox also left. Every time she sees Qin Feng, she feels extremely humiliated. She doesn't want to stay here and recover slowly. She wants to find the treasures of heaven and earth to restore her own strength. Then he ravaged Qin Feng to vent his hatred. Sure enough, pets can't keep females. They run around all day long, thinking of hooking up with other pets, but they don't know how to stay well. When Qin Feng woke up, he couldn't help sighing when he saw the little white fox disappeared. If the little white fox heard this, he would definitely fight Qin Feng desperately. Shaking his head, Qin Feng looked outside the palace. He is also ready to go out for a walk, find some new places to check in, for those sign-in locations in the palace, although items can be obtained for subsequent sign-ins. They are not as rich as the rewards obtained at the first sign-in. He decided to check in. Elsewhere, after making a decision, Qin Feng didn't stop, and walked straight to the outside of the palace. Now that Qin Zhonyan and Qin Zining are not in the imperial palace, after Chu Xiong left, the imperial army sent food once a year again, and no one would come to the imperial mausoleum. He didn't have to worry about being found out that he had left. Not long after, Qin Feng left the imperial city. Then walk with the sword, all the way to the west, surrounded by the lingering sword energy. Qin Feng was flying in the sky among the high clouds, his clothes fluttering with the wind, like an exiled immortal in the sky, looking down at the land below, mountains, rivers, and all kinds of living beings. You can see them all. There are monsters fighting for food, cultivators who are working hard to practice kung fu, and ordinary people who are working hard in farming. It can be said that they can be seen at a glance. Where should I go? Qin Feng couldn't help muttering to himself. His understanding of Kanglanyu is limited to ancient books, and he doesn't know many places. After pondering for a while, Qin Feng simply stopped thinking about it. Anyway, you can sign in anywhere, and you will be there wherever you go. For the next few months, Qin Feng moved and acted according to his heart. During the day, travel around and check in to obtain various resources. And at night, find a quiet place to meditate and gain insights. Drink. Do when you are thirsty, and drink do when you are hungry. Incomparably relaxed and comfortable, he had already left the territory of the Great Xia dynasty, and he no longer knew where he was in the Kanglan territory. He only knows such a long distance. If a normal person wants to walk on foot, it is impossible to walk so far in a lifetime. Gradually, there are mountains under Qin Feng's feet. And it is difficult to see villages or towns with a large number of human beings. One morning, Qin Feng was grilling meat in the forest, but suddenly heard a deafening sound from a distance, as if something broke the seal, and then a fierce battle broke out, and the terrifying energy fluctuation was very astonishing. What happened? Qin Feng frowned slightly, then walked in the direction of the sound, with a step of hundreds of feet. Not long after, he had already arrived. It was a lonely temple, and I don't know how many years it has existed. A large amount of devilish energy is gushing out from the ancient temple, and around the ancient temple, there are dozens of strong men. 3 or 4 are strong men from the 9th level of the Luanhai realm, and the person in the head is the 1st level of the Zifu realm. Haha. Under this palace, there are really demons. I'm hoping for the restoration of the country. The leader of the Zifu realm 1st layer heavenly expert laughed joyfully. He is the prince of the Chu kingdom. After the dynasty was wiped out by the people who rebelled, he has been thinking about restoring the country. From an ancient book, he got the information that there are evil spirits here. It was the idea of using the power of demons to restore the country. What the evil devil wants is human blood and food. Once we return to the country, we will give him as much as he wants. Another former minister of the Chu state said in a deep voice, it would be best if this demon could swallow up all those rebels. Ha ha. The other people were also all excited. It seems to have seen the scene of the restoration of Chu state. At this time, Qin Feng's eyes were all on the ancient temple. There are temples in the Kanglan region. Qin Feng was extremely surprised. Over the years, he has seen a lot of ancient books in Zangshu Pavilion. He wanted to understand this Kanglan realm more deeply, but he was surprised to find that there was no record about Buddhism in Kanglan realm. He thought it was because Buddhism was not preached here. Unexpectedly, I saw an ancient temple here. However, after hearing the conversations of those few people, he could also understand that these people didn't know that this was a temple, nor did they know what the meaning of this temple was. They just regarded it as an ordinary temple. I don't know what rewards I can get for signing in here. Qin Feng muttered to himself, thinking this way in his heart. He didn't hesitate, and walked towards the ancient temple with big strides. I was afraid that the demon who had just broken through the seal would smash the temple into pieces in a fit of rage. Who? Not seeing Qin Feng walking towards the ancient temple, the crown prince of Chu and the others all shouted loudly, but Qin Feng was too lazy to talk to them, and walked straight towards the ancient temple. What is this guy trying to do? I don't know, but now the demon has come out. If he dares to approach the past, there is only one dead end. Hey, probably a guy with a brain problem. Let him be the first blood eater of Lord Shima. Those people in Chu state sneered when they saw Qin Feng walking straight towards the ancient temple where the devilish energy was gushing out. The aura emanating from this evil spirit is in the middle stage of the 3rd layer of the Zifu realm. Looking at the entire Kanglan region, there are only a handful of such strong people, and Qin Feng looked like a young man under 50 years old, and he didn't have any martial arts aura emanating from him, so they naturally didn't take Qin Feng seriously. He felt that Qin Feng was out of his mind, so he dared to approach the ancient temple. Blood food. I want blood food. And at this moment, a demon with a height of 2 feet came out from the ancient temple. His eyes were red and glowing with blood. At this time, he was very hungry, and when he saw Qin Feng, he became excited. He wants to taste the taste of human beings, compared with the monsters that strayed into the ancient temple these years. He always felt that the human body with delicate skin and tender flesh was the most delicious, the powerful spiritual consciousness. Brewed by the wisdom far surpassing other animals is also the most supplementary to him. Boom! The devilish energy around the demon surged, and a huge black hand quickly formed, and it grabbed at Qin Feng. The terrifying magic power made those Chu people present feel extremely horrified. They had truly seen the power of the 3rd level powerhouse in the Purple Mansion realm, and their hearts became more and more excited. In their eyes, Qin Feng is now a dead person. Want to eat me? You're thinking too much. Qin Feng looked at the demon that was grabbed by the huge palm, and said coldly. He slowly raised his finger, and the astonishing sword energy immediately gathered at his fingertips, emitting a dazzling light, and the terrifying sword intent was released around him, centered on him. P.S. Before everyone reads the next chapter, let me explain in advance, the protagonist will not practice Buddhism, still majoring in Kendo. Chapter 25 Buddhist Pure Land. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ha! The sword glow from Qin Feng's fingertips shot out, sweeping towards the huge black palm. This sword light is extremely terrifying, and the ground along the way is full of sword marks. Boom! In an instant, the sword glow collided with the huge black palm, and an astonishing wave of aura erupted. That huge black palm failed to block the sword light even for a moment, but was immediately shattered by the sword light, turning into strands of devilish energy and dissipating between the heaven and the earth. What? The demon turned pale with shock. He never expected that Qin Feng, who looked so young, would be so powerful, and at the same time as he was shocked, the power of the sword light did not decrease at all, and it continued to shoot towards him. Boom! The evil spirit did not dare to be negligent, and hastily gathered all the devilish energy around it, condensing it in front of him, forming a black shield, trying to resist Qin Feng's sword light. Unfortunately, he is too weak. The gap between each small realm of Zifu realm is worlds apart. What's more, he is 3 small realms weaker than Qin Feng. In addition, Qin Feng has the ability to be invincible at the same level and fight across levels. The gap between him and Qin Feng is like a galaxy, and it is impossible to bridge. Crack! The sword glow easily shattered the black shield and penetrated into the demon's body. The shrill scream sounded here in an instant. Like a ghost, the great pain distorted the demon's expression. Qin Feng did not kill him directly, and this scene made those people in Chu country dumbfounded. Everyone froze in place, their eyes filled with disbelief. How is this possible? How could this guy be so strong that he defeated this 3rd-level demon in the Purple Mansion realm in an instant? He is less than 50 years old, and there was no spiritual energy fluctuation in his body just now. How could he suddenly burst out with such great strength? At this moment, countless doubts exploded in the minds of the Prince of Chu and the others. I feel that my understanding of the world has been refreshed. When did such a young martial arts genius appear in Kanglanyu? It's just that no one can answer their questions, and at this moment, Qin Feng had already strode in front of the demon. How can you be so strong? What are you going to do? That the evil spirit was inserted into the body by Qin Feng's sword light, and it could no longer move, and shouted in horror. Even if the Kanglan territory hadn't erupted in the demon sealing war 10,000 years ago, when the power of the major dynasties was at its peak, there had never been such a monstrous martial artist. Leverage your divine sense to see. Qin Feng didn't answer the demon's question, but said calmly, it was a breeze for him to instantly kill this demon, but he didn't do that, because he wanted to see what happened between this demon and Buddhism. In the depths of Qin Feng's eyes, mysterious and complicated ancient runes immediately appeared, began to watch the memory of the demon's consciousness. Oh no! The demon suddenly let out a painful scream. His consciousness and memory being watched made him feel so much pain. It's almost worse than dying. He wanted to commit suicide, but there was no way, because his consciousness was being observed by Qin Feng. It was difficult for him to control his body. After a while, the demon's screams gradually subsided. It turned out to be a monk who wanted to come to the Kanglan region to preach. He was targeted by this demon during his retreat. The two sides fought to the death for several months. In the end, even though the demon was sealed, the old monk was exhausted. Qin Feng muttered to himself. After getting the information he wanted, he didn't show mercy, and directly ended the demon's life. The huge body of the demon fell heavily and hit the ground, causing the ground to vibrate. After a while, his body dissipated, leaving only the monstrous devilish energy. Dead. Seeing the slain demon, the Prince of Chu and others, they were completely stunned. It's hard to believe that a young man under 50 years old is so powerful and terrifying. Since you want to be with demons so much, then go with them. Qin Feng glanced at those people and said calmly. As he said that, he waved his big sleeve, and dozens of sword beams shot towards the Crown Prince of Chu and the others. Run away. Those people finally reacted from the shock at this time, and turned around to escape. It's a pity that they are so weak. How could they escape? Puff, puff. In an instant, he was overtaken by the sword light and penetrated his body. The smell of blood permeates here. Afterwards, Qin Feng also looked at the ancient temple. System, sign me in here. Qin Feng called out the system and said slowly. Ding! Sign in successfully and get the Buddhist Pure Land reward. Immediately, the notification sound of the mechanical version of the system rang in his ears. Buddhist Pure Land? What is this? Did you reward me with a ruined temple? That with curiosity in his heart, Qin Feng checked the information. Immediately, he was taken aback. The Buddhist Pure Land is the legendary Dharma, which can only be practiced by ancient Buddhas with profound attainments. Within the Pure Land, all dharmas are inviolable. Isn't this the domain? Under normal circumstances, only the martial domain realm can display the domain, but now I'm only in the Purple Mansion realm, and I can actually display it. Qin Feng said in surprise. However, after checking it, he found that if he wanted to practice Buddhism in the Pure Land, he needed a deeper understanding of Buddhism. He couldn't help frowning and said, I'm practicing Buddhism now, is there still time? I can also put down the butcher's knife. Anyway, he decided to try it. Thinking this way in his heart, Qin Feng sat cross-legged in the ancient temple. Start practicing Buddhist Pure Land. Not long after, ancient golden Buddhist inscriptions appeared around Qin Feng's body. The whole person exudes a sacred breath. At the same time, a strange scene was discovered. The turbulent devil energy in the world was also rapidly refined, turning into strands of golden light, gathering around Qin Feng's body, faintly. There was even a Buddhist voice like Huang Zhong Dalu resounding in the ancient temple. A month passed in a hurry. Qin Feng in the ancient temple sat cross-legged all the time. The turbulent devil energy in the surrounding area was also completely refined, turning into a golden light, surrounding Qin Feng's body. Ha! Suddenly, Qin Feng opened his eyes, and a golden light shone in his eyes. Dazzling golden light erupted within a radius of 10 feet, and countless Buddhist scriptures floated around. There is also the vast sound of Buddha, resounding through the world. Is this the Pure Land of Buddhism? Qin Feng looked around, looking at the area within a radius of 10 feet, where the golden light was shining and the golden Buddhist scripts floated. He muttered to himself. He felt that he had absolute control over the area within a radius of 10 feet. If others enter this range, they will definitely be greatly weakened. It's a pity that the range of 10 feet is still too close. Qin Feng muttered to himself. If he really meets a strong man who is evenly matched, he can only prevent the opponent from escaping by casting the Buddhist Pure Land unexpectedly during the battle. But he was not disappointed, because he saw the introduction of this Buddhist Pure Land. After cultivating to great success, the range after casting can fully cover a whole area. At that time, who can escape from his Buddhist Pure Land? Tathagata will not work. Afterwards, Qin Feng got up and left the ancient temple. After the devilish energy was refined, he was able to expand his Buddhist Pure Land, and he was going to find a place where the devilish energy was abundant. Chapter 26 Demon Mountains. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There are many places to seal demons in the Kanglan territory. However, most of them are in the imperial cities of the major dynasties, and they are suppressed with the peerless array and the luck of the dynasties to prevent the evil spirits from being born. But there are some exceptions. Demon Mountains, stretching for 3,000 miles, all the trees growing inside are pitch black and exude devilish energy. There isn't even a monster here. In the sky, it is also dark all year round, and the scene is extremely strange. This is after the demon sealing war 10,000 years ago. Many powerful dynasties and sects sealed those demons who were not too strong, but it would take too much time and energy to kill them all, and sealed them here. Not only can it make them weaken over time, but it can also be used as a place for young people to practice. At this time, there were quite a few figures at the entrance of the Demon Mountain Range, and it was extremely lively, because today is the day when the Demon Mountain Range is opened. All practitioners of the transforming spirit realm below the Lunhai realm can enter it. The Tianjiao among the most powerful dynasties and sects in the Kanglan region also have to enter the mountains to practice. Ha! Not long after, figures flew over from the distant sky. It attracted a lot of attention. Chen Feng of the Golden Sun sect is young, and his cultivation is already at the peak of the 9th layer of the spirit transformation realm. He is really a gift from heaven. Seeing the appearance of the leader among these figures, many people exclaimed, and Chen Feng, who was dressed in white, held a folding fan, and looked elegant, revealed a haughty look when he heard these exclamations, clearly enjoying the flattery. And afterward, the Tianjiao of the two sects also came here one after another. causing bursts of exclamation. Discussions about them abound, and at this time, Qin Zining, who was also out for training, also came here, standing far away from those sect arrogants. Qin Zining. She's here too. She's at least 10 years younger than the geniuses present. Why do you want to join them in the Demon Mountain Range? You don't even know this. Although Qin Zining is not very old, her cultivation is already at the middle stage of the 8th level of the spirit transformation realm, and she is no worse than other geniuses. It's already in the middle of the 8th heaven of transforming spirit realm, and it's the most difficult sword cultivator to cultivate. Her talent is so terrifying. Is it because of the Zifu realm powerhouse who suddenly appeared a few years ago in the Great Xia dynasty? You think too much. How can a strong man in the Purple Mansion create a genius like Qin Zining out of thin air? Rumor has it that Qin Zining has a peerless sword body. On the day of her birth, the sound of the sword resounded throughout the world. This is why she has such an amazing talent for swordsmanship and has reached such an astonishing level at a young age. Many people were shocked by Qin Zining's powerful cultivation, and made various voices of discussion. Those eyes that fell on Qin Zining even included a lot of admiration. After all, no one would dislike a girl with such amazing looks and martial arts talent. Qin Zining's cultivation is really progressing so quickly. It is estimated that in a few years, he will surpass me. Lu Meyer of the Cold Moon sect smiled lightly. She seemed to be praising Qin Zining, but while she was speaking, she glanced at Chen Feng indistinctly. Chen Feng, the genius of Jin Yangzong who had been robbed of the limelight, looked at Qin Zining very displeased. After hearing the words, his complexion became even more ugly. Originally, he was the most famous arrogance among the young people of Kanglanyu, but Qin Zining's appearance took away the attention that should belong to him, which made him always hostile to Qin Zining in his heart. Humph. I won't let her pass me. Chen Feng snorted coldly. Hearing what he said, Lu Meyer couldn't help flashing a hint of mockery in her eyes. Let Chen Feng say this in public, and her goal will be achieved. At this time, Qin Zining was a little embarrassed to be looked at by so many complicated eyes, and was not used to it. He chatted with the Tianjiao of other dynasties beside him, talking about his recent experience. Although the relationship between the major dynasties is undercurrents, but because there are demons in the common seal, they are still harmonious on the surface. Moreover, the first goal of the younger generation of the royal family is still to improve their cultivation. They have no contact with the affairs of the court in China, so the relationship between them is not bad, at least compared to the relationship with the major sects. It is still very good. As more and more Tianjiao came, everyone's eyes also fell on the Demon Mountain, waiting for it to open. Boom! Suddenly, the spiritual energy between the heaven and the earth gathered here. Finally, a crack appeared in the formation that suppressed the entire demonic mountain range, and those who were on trial could enter through it. Let's go. Go in, Chen Feng of Jin Yangzong said indifferently to the people beside him. He put away the folding fan and strode inside. There are not only demons in the Demon Mountain range, because it used to be an ancient battlefield, and there were geniuses from all major forces in it, and there were also many treasures. Someone started, and immediately someone followed, and a large number of people entered. Qin Zining and several dynasty geniuses also entered the Demon Mountain range in front of them. Among these people, there was a man in a black cloak who also strode in. Although he was dressed a little differently, he didn't attract much attention. This person is Qin Feng. He wanted to enter the Demon Mountain to sign in, and by the way, he wanted to use the demon energy here to strengthen his Buddhist Pure Land, but because he was the former prince after all, many people had seen him, so he covered his figure with a black robe to prevent being recognized and causing unnecessary trouble. The moment Qin Feng entered the formation suddenly shook slightly. Because this evil mountain range is for the younger generation of cultivators to experience, the formation has strict restrictions, and only those who are below the Luanhai realm can enter, but Qin Feng is already in the 6th heaven of the Purple Mansion realm, far away. Exceeded this standard, however, Qin Feng's ancient chaotic sword body can restrain all auras, and this formation method did not discover his abnormality after all. Kindness. But at this time, the protector of Lu Meyer of the Cold Moon sect in the dark noticed this abnormality. What happened? The third elder of the Hanyu sect was actually here, and she asked and answered in confusion when she saw this. I seem to have seen abnormal fluctuations from this formation just now. It is the kind of strange fluctuations that will only be emitted after people who have surpassed the cultivation level of the spirit transformation realm enter. Lu Meyer's guardian murmured. You read it wrong, that the third elder of the Hanwha sect frowned, and said, if someone forced his way in, there would definitely be a lot of commotion, and he might be obliterated by the formation, but there was no commotion just now. This. Is it really my misreading? Lu Meyer's protector muttered to himself, slightly pondering for a moment. He felt that he must have read wrongly. If he forced his way into this formation, he would be either killed or injured. Under the circumstances that it is impossible to break in, it is impossible for anyone to dare to force his way in. Let's wait for Meyer to come out, that the third elder of the Hanwha sect said in a deep voice. After Meyer comes out, no one must find out that she has abnormalities, otherwise our Hanwha sect will become the target of public criticism. Don't worry. Both of us are here. Can people find out that Meyer is abnormal? Lu Meyer's guardian is very confident. The third elder of Hanwha sect also nodded. They both came in person, so what could happen? They just quietly waited. Chapter 27 Young People Today. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Walking in the Demon Mountains, Qin Feng felt that the world was dark. Although it was noon outside, it was as dark as evening here. The cold wind blows, accompanied by the smell of blood, which makes people feel very uncomfortable. Occasionally, the roaring sound of the demon made people's scalp tingle. However, Qin Feng did not have any fear, and walked calmly in the Demon Mountains. What a powerful magic energy! Qin Feng originally wanted to find a quiet place to absorb the demonic energy and strengthen his Buddhist Pure Land, but he suddenly noticed that in the depths of the mountains, the demonic energy was overwhelming, very abnormal, because there is a suppression formation here. Under normal circumstances, no demons that exceed the spirit transformation realm and reach the will see realm should not be born, but the devilish energy deep in the mountains is really too powerful. With doubts in his heart, Qin Feng walked towards the depths of the mountains. The stronger the magic energy, the more benefits it would have for him. However, before Qin Feng could go far, two demons suddenly appeared in front of him, blocking him. Hey! I didn't expect that I would gain something as soon as I went out today. I actually met a human being with no cultivation. One of the demons saw that Qin Feng did not have any spiritual energy fluctuations, and immediately smiled. The voice of speaking is very unpleasant, which makes people feel that it is a torture to the ears. Humans regard this place as a testing ground, and similarly, the demons inside also treat human beings as food. The weak will be eaten, and only the strong can come out alive. It's not that there are no human beings who broke into this place looking for opportunities without cultivation. But there are too few of them. The two of them didn't expect that they would be so lucky to meet each other. Congealing Yuan realm, seeing these two demons, Qin Feng said in astonishment, there are such weak demons in this world, that he thought that the demons who could survive till now, no matter how much they cultivated themselves, should be in the realm of Luanhai realm, but he never expected to see two demons in the condensed origin realm here. However, he felt relieved after thinking about it. The powerful demons were all sealed in the imperial cities of the major dynasties, and suppressed by powerful formations and the luck of the dynasties. Those who were sealed here would naturally not be very strong. They're all little guys and stuff. After so many years, it is normal to become so weak. You! How dare you laugh at us, you uncultivated human being! One of the demons was furious and said, today I must swallow you alive. As he said that, he rushed towards Qin Feng, and so did the demon next to him. Qin Feng's words just now are not very powerful, but they are extremely humiliating. Especially the surprise from the bottom of my heart made them feel a great humiliation. Seeing the two demons coming towards him, Qin Feng ignored them and continued to stride forward. Boom, boom. When the two demons who came rushing towards Qin Feng rushed to a distance of 1 foot away from Qin Feng, they suddenly seemed to hit the air wall and were smashed to pieces. It turned into wisps of magic energy and disappeared between heaven and earth. Qin Feng continued to walk towards the depths of the mountains as if nothing had happened. Those two demons probably never imagined in their dreams that they died so sloppily. Along the way, Qin Feng saw the entire Demon Mountain range, which Was extremely lively. Fighting with demons is everywhere. Most of the places with treasures are guarded by evil spirits, waiting for those arrogants to come to their door, but those Jinjiao are not fools, they all go in groups, and the battles are almost all very fierce group battles. As for these battles, Qin Feng was not interested at all. He walked straight towards the depths of the mountains. It didn't take long for the sounds of fighting around to become less and less, because those who can enter here are the strongest group of arrogants, not many people. Boom boom. Suddenly, in the mountain forest on the left, a dazzling red light suddenly lit up, and a powerful aura fluctuated. Qin Feng's eyes were instantly attracted. Is this an ancient medicine? That his eyes were full of curiosity, with doubts in his heart. He strode towards the forest on the left. It didn't take long for Qin Feng to arrive. On a clearing in the middle of the mountain forest, there are large pieces of human bones. Although these people have been dead for many years, the bones are still crystal clear, with a faint fluorescence flowing, and it can be seen that they were strong when they were alive, and in the central area, a blood-red flower is slowly blooming, extremely coquettish and weird. The other side of the flower, Qin Feng was surprised unexpectedly. The other shore flowers are blooming here. According to the legend, it is the flower that blooms on the road from the world to the underworld. Although in the Kanglan domain, this kind of flower is not so mysterious, there is a chance that it will grow in places where the bones of the strong are gathered, but still very rare. Although this kind of flower grows in a dead place, it will have the effect of prolonging life. Instead, in the Kanglan domain, any item with the effect of prolonging life, whether it is an elixir or an ancient medicine for growth, is all priceless. It's just that, at this time, someone has already picked the flowers of the other side and put them in the ring. Qin Feng, the arrogance of the Jinyang sect, and several brothers from his same clan. Haha. I never thought that such a precious Bana flower would be obtained so easily by us. One of the disciples of the Jinyang sect laughed loudly. Whether I hand it over to the sect or sell it, I can get a lot of cultivation resources, and then I will make a big breakthrough again and become the focus of attention again. Qin Feng said with excitement in his eyes. Qin Zining's limelight overwhelmed him, which made him very unhappy, but he still couldn't widen the gap in cultivation with Qin Zining, and instead was chased closer and closer. With this other side flower, he can finally feel proud. Never mind. Qin Feng shook his head, and didn't intend to grab it. Although he is not the Holy Mother, he will never be merciless in killing people, but for the time being, he doesn't have to think about the near end of his life, and he doesn't plan to do these things of killing people for money. Immediately, Qin Feng was about to turn around and leave. Stop. However, at this moment, Qin Feng noticed Qin Feng and said coldly. What, is something wrong? Qin Feng frowned and said lightly. You just saw me picking the flowers of the other shore, and you still want to leave? In Qin Feng's eyes, there was a cold killing intent. How precious are the other shore flowers? If people know that he has the Bianhua, it will definitely attract prying eyes. Although his protectors are outside, it is unlikely that the top forces will tear their skins apart for a single flower of the other side, but to be on the safe side, it would be easier to kill the person who saw him picking flowers from the other side. In his opinion, a human life is not worth mentioning at all. Are you serious? Qin Feng didn't feel angry for a moment, but rather amused. He didn't intend to kill people to steal money, but the other party actually wanted to kill him to silence him. Are young people nowadays so good at playing? Humph. Don't blame me for being ruthless, just blame your own bad luck for seeing me picking the flowers of the other side. Qin Feng said solemnly. Astonishing aura fluctuations erupted from his body, which was incomparably astonishing. The killing intent in his heart was undisguised. Chapter 28-29 The Cunning Demon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing that Qin Feng was going to kill Qin Feng, those disciples of Jin Yangzong all looked like they were watching the excitement and didn't think it was a big deal. What an unlucky guy. If he had come earlier, the Bana flower would have been his. If he had come later, he could have saved his life, but he came at this time. This kind of person has a bad life, and he will die when he dies. In their words, it seemed that Qin Feng was already a dead person. After all, Qin Feng is already in the 9th heaven of transforming spirit realm, and in this mountain range that only practitioners below the Luanhai realm can enter, Qin Feng is completely invincible. If it is a one-on-one, no one is his opponent. Ha! But at this time, Chen Feng had already made a move. When he used his movement technique, his figure moved instantly, and soon he came in front of Chen Feng. At the same time, the palm of his hand was like a knife, and the spiritual energy surged from above, and he slashed towards Chen Feng. He uses a knife, however. He thought that among the people who entered the Demon Mountain range this time, there were only 5 or 6 people who were qualified for him to draw his weapon. Chen Feng is naturally not in this list. However, Chen Feng made a calm move and directly grabbed Chen Feng's wrist. This was enough to instantly kill a cultivator of the same level, but it was not worth mentioning to Chen Feng. What? Chen Feng was shocked when he saw that Chen Feng had easily grabbed his wrist. He wanted to break free, but his whole hand seemed to be embedded in a stone, making it difficult to move at all. I didn't want this Bianhua flower at first, but since you sent it, I will accept it. Chen Feng said lightly. As he spoke, he slightly exerted force on his palm, and Chen Feng's entire palm was crushed and turned into a cloud of blood mist. Only the accepting ring was intact and fell into Chen Feng's hands. Ah, my hand, my hand. Chen Feng finally got rid of Chen Feng, but he screamed in pain. In the distance, his fellow apprentices were all stunned. How is it possible? Senior brother is in the 9th heaven realm of the spiritual transformation realm, and this guy could have crippled a hand so easily, that they were incomparably shocked. Among the people who entered this demonic mountain range, even if someone was really stronger than Chen Feng, the gap shouldn't be so big. Simply crushing. Bastard! How dare you abolish me? Jin Yangzong will never let you go. Chen Feng endured the pain, gnashed his teeth and roared. He was extremely angry. Now that one palm was crippled, his whole body seemed to be crippled as well. Life was like death. Hee. What happened today will not be spread. Chen Feng smiled lightly. He doesn't have the bad habit of letting the tiger go back to the mountain. You, what do you mean? Are you going to kill us all? Chen Feng's expression changed, and he suddenly felt the killing intent on Chen Feng's body, and retreated again and again. What do you think? Chen Feng smiled lightly. While speaking, he slowly raised his finger, and there was a tiny light on it, which slowly lit up. You are only one person, and you want to kill all of us. It is really arrogant. Those disciples of the Jinyang sect all shouted loudly. They have shown a strong cultivation base. All of them are in the 8th or 9th level of the spirit transformation realm. Although any one of them standing alone cannot compare to Chen Feng just now, but they are much stronger together. Facing these Jinyang sect disciples, Chen Feng didn't bother to talk nonsense at all. With a touch of sword light on his fingertips, he burst out. Ha! With an unstoppable aura, the sword glow shot towards these people, and instantly penetrated Chen Feng's body. Then, it continued to sweep towards the remaining disciples of the Jinyang sect. Pfft. The difference in realm was huge. These Jinyangzong disciples had no power to resist at all, and were completely wiped out by this terrifying sword light in an instant. Only the stumped limbs and arms were left on the ground, exuding the smell of blood. This Bianhua looks really good. Chen Feng took the Bana flower out of the ring, sized it up, and muttered to himself. Although the flower grew out of the bones, he could clearly feel the strong vitality of life from inside. Very strange. Afterwards, Chen Feng put the Bian flower in his ring, and continued walking straight towards the depths of the mountains. At the same time, Qin Zining and the princes and princesses of the other 2 dynasties are joining forces to fight against the evil spirits. At this time, they were besieging 3 demons from the 9th level of the spiritual realm, and the leader was the peak of the 9th level of the spiritual realm, with extraordinary combat power. Boom, boom, boom. The battle was extremely fierce. Bursts of energy fluctuations erupted in the open space. On the ground, there are large pits left by fierce battles everywhere, like spider webs of cracks, spreading in all directions. Under the siege of Qin Zining and the others, these 3 demons gradually fell into a disadvantageous position and retreated in succession. These hateful humans, the eyes of the leader of the demon were full of anger, and then his eyes locked on Qin Zining. This chick's cultivation is the weakest, I'll kill her first. Because among these people, only Qin Zining was in the middle stage of the 8th layer of the spirit transformation realm, and he was the weakest among all the people. he wanted to kill Qin Zining first, and then find a breakthrough. Boom! The other two demons teamed up, fought hard to get injured, and withstood all the attacks of the others, and the leading demon rushed towards Qin Zining. Careful, that the other people were shocked when they saw this. They didn't expect these demons to be so cunning, and they shouted loudly, although this most powerful demon has experienced a long period of fierce battle just now, his state has declined, and his combat power is only comparable to that of the early stage of the 9th layer of the spirit transformation realm, but it is still a little higher than Qin Zining. They think that in a one-on-one situation, Qin Zining is no match for this demon at all. Although Qin Zining was not from the same dynasty as them, they still hunted and killed monsters together. If Qin Zining was killed, it would only appear that they were incompetent. At this time, Qin Zining did not expect that the demon would be so cunning, and let her companion risk injury, bear the attack of others, and then kill herself. However, after several years of experience, her mood grew rapidly. And she quickly calmed down. Boom boom. Qin Zining held the sword in both hands, and the amazing sword intent was released from the body, like a rushing river, incredibly amazing. In an instant, the ground beside him was covered with a large number of sword marks, and at this time, the evil spirit had already culled and came. Great river sword intent, Qin Zining shouted coquettishly, and slashed out with the long sword in her hand. This is her last whole card, and she will not use it easily unless it is a last resort, but it is already very dangerous now, so she has no reservations. In an instant, the rushing river-like sword intent swept towards the charging demon. Soon it collided with the demon. It's only the 8th level of the Lingling realm, and you still want to stop me. It's just a dream. That the demon in the lead had an indifferent face, and his eyes were full of mockery. Holding the magic weapon in his hand, he wanted to split the rushing river-like sword energy directly. However, the next moment, his expression suddenly changed. Chapter 30 Lu Meyer. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom. Qin Zining's day sword intent was extremely powerful, and the evil spirit at the head found that it was difficult for him to fight against it, let alone split it. In an instant, he fell into a disadvantage. The rushing river-like sword intent crushed past him, and he screamed in pain, as if his body had been pierced by thousands of sharp swords. What? In the end, the leading demon screamed in pain. His body couldn't bear the galloping sword intent, and it shattered directly, turning into wisps of devilish energy, dissipated between heaven and earth. This scene stunned many princes and princesses, and even those two demons. What kind of sword technique is this? How so terrible? Even though they were far apart, they all felt the aura of danger just now. Chong. And Qin Zining had almost exhausted all the spiritual energy in her body just now, and her body was a little weak at this time. She stuck her sword on the ground to support her body not to fall down. At this time, the princes and princesses of the other two great dynasties also reacted from the shock, and quickly joined hands to kill the remaining two demons. Zining, why have you never seen the sword technique you used just now, and it is so powerful? That the third princess of the Taishan dynasty stepped forward and asked suspiciously. She has never seen a strong man from the great Xia dynasty perform this kind of swordsmanship, so she is very curious. Several other people also showed puzzled eyes. It's not considered a powerful swordsmanship, I learned it myself. While talking, Qin Zining took a Huiling pill. As soon as this remark came out, the others looked at each other in blank dismay. Sword art can also be comprehended by oneself. Is this the legendary peerless sword body? Kendo talent is too scary. Who? At this moment, Ling Xiao, the 10th prince of the Taishan dynasty, suddenly shouted coldly, and looked towards the dense forest not far away, where a figure was approaching. Everyone showed vigilant eyes. Sorry, I didn't disturb everyone hunting demons. A charming figure appeared in front of everyone, the pride of the Cold Moon sect, Lu Meyer. Miss Meyer, why are you alone? Seeing Lu Meyer, the vigilance on Ling Xiao's face turned into a smile, and he asked suspiciously. The others also breathed a sigh of relief. Although the relationship between all dynasties and Zongmen is very bad, but Han Yuezong is an exception. This sect strictly ordered its disciples not to conflict with any other forces, and only accepted female disciples, and many of them married into major dynasties and sections. It can be said to have both sides. Lu Meyer's younger sister even married into the royal family of Daxia. her own reputation is also very good. She is willing to do good and be kind to others. It can almost be said that she is a clear stream of the younger generation in the cultivation world. I happen to want to ask someone for help. I just heard the sound of fighting here, so I came here. Lou Meyer chuckled lightly, and said, "You guys are really amazing. You actually killed such powerful 3 demons so easily, you are indeed the pride of the great dynasties. Miss Meyer is too polite." Ling Xiao smiled and said, "You said just now that you wanted to ask someone for help. Did something happen to you?" "I just found a god stone mine in a valley deep in the mountains, but there are demons in it, although they are not strong, but there are a lot of them, I can't deal with them alone." Lou Meyer said helplessly, "So I want to ask someone for help." Spiritual stone mine, that when everyone heard the words, they all exclaimed, compared with ordinary spirit stones, the aura contained in the god spirit stone is not only very large, but also extremely pure. After being absorbed into the body, there is no need to temper it at all, and it can be directly transformed into cultivation. In Kanglan domain, although there are Lingxia mines, there are not many of them, there are no god stone mines at all, only a small amount of god stones have been handed down from other domains. None of them expected that Lou Meyer would discover a god stone mine. "Yes." Lou Meyer nodded, and said slowly, "Are you interested in helping me to go to the valley deep in the mountains? All the spirit stones obtained at that time will be shared equally among everyone." Miss Meyer must have read it wrong. "Why is there a god stone mine here?" Ling Xiao said with some doubts. "In the past, the strong men of several great dynasties teamed up to seal those weak demons in this mountain range. If there were god stone mines, how could those strong men not find it?" "What am I lying to you for?" As Lou Meyer said, she took out a spirit stone and said, "Look." Ling Xiao took the spirit stone, checked it with everyone around him, and was shocked to find that it was really the spirit stone. The aura inside is so lush and pure that it is simply not comparable to ordinary spirit stones. "Well, believe it now." Lou Meyer smiled and said, "There are at least 1,000 spirit stones of this size in the god stone mine." Hiss. The princes and princesses of the other 2 dynasties couldn't help but gasped, 1,000. If they can be taken away, it will greatly improve the strength of the entire dynasty, even if only part of it can be distributed, it is not a small amount. "How could we not believe what Miss Meyer said?" Ling Xiao immediately said, his eyes were full of excitement, "The temptation of the spirit stone is really too great. Why did Sister Meyer think of going to the depths of the mountains alone?" Qin Zining asked at this time. Although she was familiar with Lou Meyer, she still asked out the doubts in her heart. As soon as this remark came out, several people also looked at Lou Meyer suspiciously. Under normal circumstances, Lou Meyer is alone, so she shouldn't be running deep into the mountains. The number of demons there is much more than that in the outer areas, and it is easy for one person to have problems. When Lou Meyer heard this, a trace of panic flashed in her eyes, but she soon calmed down. She smiled and said, "Little girl, I haven't seen you for 2 years, your vigilance has increased, and you can't even believe what my sister says." She lightly scratched Qin Zining's beautiful nose, and then said, "A friend of mine was injured by an evil spirit after entering the mountain range. After I heard the news and rushed there, I chased the evil spirit all the way to the deepest part of the mountain range." Hearing what she said, everyone present also nodded without doubting it. Qin Zining wanted to ask something else, but was interrupted by Taishian 10th Prince. The 10th Prince of Taishian had already believed in Lou Meyer, and felt that a girl like Lou Meyer would not lie, so he began to ask about the number of demons in the valley as a response, and Lou Meyer answered fluently. Seeing this, everyone completely believed Lou Meyer. In addition to the fact that Lou Meyer took out the spirit stone, they also felt that there was no need for Lou Meyer to lie to them, and that would not be of any benefit to Lou Meyer. Although Qin Zining still had some doubts in her heart at this time, after all, Lou Meyer's own sister married into the royal family of Great Xia, and she often went to the imperial city, so her relationship with Qin Zining was pretty good. Qin Zining was afraid to ask too many questions. It seemed that she didn't trust Lou Meyer, so she didn't ask any more questions. Afterwards, everyone walked towards the direction of the valley together. Chapter 31 The Emperor's Reminder. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It didn't take long for everyone to come outside the valley in the deepest part of the Demon Mountain range. In this valley, there is a God stone mine. Lou Meyer spoke to everyone slowly. When everyone heard the words, their excited eyes turned to the valley in front of them. They could clearly feel that the aura in this valley was much richer than the outside world, at least several times the difference. Moreover, these auras are very pure, very similar to the spirit stone that Lou Meyer took out just now. Go in quickly. Ling Xiao couldn't wait to say, hurry up and take away those God stones. Other people in the province have also discovered this place, and there are many nights and dreams. The others nodded upon hearing this, but at this time, a slightly hoarse voice suddenly sounded. This valley is a scam. There are demons in the Purple Mansion realm inside. You'd better not go in. Hearing this voice, Ling Xiao and the others were all surprised. Why didn't they notice that there were other people here? They hurriedly looked in the direction of the sound. I saw a person in a black cloak sitting cross-legged on a boulder in the left rear. Although he seemed to be meditating in an ordinary way, he seemed to be integrated with the surrounding world. Obviously, it was here before they came. When you came here just now, you didn't notice him. Ling Xiao was astonished. All of them were so careful that they didn't even notice that there was someone there. This valley is a scam, and there is a demon in the Purple Mansion. Qin Zining said in amazement upon hearing this. She felt that Qin Feng's voice was a little familiar, but because Qin Feng deliberately hoarse his voice, she didn't recognize it, so she didn't care, and the main concern was the evil spirits in the Purple Mansion realm. Yes. Qin Feng nodded and said lightly. The reason why he opened his mouth to remind him was naturally because Qin Zining was also in this team. As soon as he came here, Qin Feng used his divine pupils to discover a powerful demon in the valley. The demon's realm exceeded the limit of the formation, and he was already at the first level of the Zifu realm. Although he was not Qin Feng's opponent, Qin Feng noticed that the demon used the magic formation to hide his aura. He was worried that there were other killing formations inside, so he didn't go in directly, but used his eyes to observe outside to see if there were killing formations. Nonsense. Hearing Qin Feng's words, Lou Meyer's pretty face changed. She first reprimanded Qin Feng, and then said, when I entered inside, there were only some demons from the 7th or 8th level of the spirit transformation realm, but there were too many of them, so I just said looking for your help. There is no powerful demon in it at all. Moreover, the entire Demon Mountain range is restricted by formations. How could any demons grow to the Purple Mansion realm and break free from the shackles of formations? Hearing what she said, everyone nodded, thinking it made sense, and no longer believed in Qin Feng. With the restriction of the formation, under normal circumstances, it is impossible for the demons in the Demon Mountains to surpass the spirit transformation realm and reach the Luanhai realm, let alone reach the Purple Mansion realm. What's more, if there really was an evil spirit in the Purple Mansion realm inside, why wasn't this guy in black robe killed by the evil spirit after he found out? It is impossible that his cultivation base is higher than that of the evil spirits in the Purple Mansion realm. He can find the evil spirits, but the evil spirits cannot find him. Even more ridiculous. This mountain formation not only has restrictions on demons, but also on the practitioners who can enter here. The upper limit that can enter is the peak of the 9th layer of the spirit transformation realm. I think this mysterious guy is not a good person. He must have discovered the God Stone mine inside, but his companions haven't arrived yet, so he deliberately deceived us. Ling Xiao said, don't pay attention to him, let's go in and take away those God stones. With that said, he was about to enter the valley. Qin Zining still wanted to ask a few more questions, but suddenly remembered that her uncle had said it when she left the palace, and specifically explained that she should not believe what strangers said. He didn't ask any more questions, and followed everyone into the valley. Seeing this, Qin Feng shook his head helplessly. From the change in Qin Zining's eyes when he looked at him just now, he naturally guessed what Qin Zining was thinking. This little girl, just remember not to trust what strangers say, so you won't draw inferences from one instance, and be vigilant about acquaintances. However, Qin Feng did not forcibly stop him, because he felt that it was necessary for Qin Zining to experience more, so that Qin Zining would be vigilant enough next time even when facing acquaintances. Using his divine pupils, he continued to observe for a while, and after finding that there was indeed no killing formation in the valley, he got up and walked towards the valley. Everyone entered the valley and followed Lu Meyer to the depths of the valley. However, there is no trace of the Spirit Stone Mine at all. "Miss Meyer, where is the Spirit Stone Mine?" Ling Xiao said suspiciously, but Lu Meyer ignored him, but strode to a stone wall and knelt down on one knee. "Lord Tu Ming, I have brought all the princes and princesses of the dynasties you want." There was incomparable humility in her voice, but at this moment, a large amount of devilish energy suddenly seeped out of the seemingly ordinary stone wall, then the devilish energy quickly condensed, forming a demon figure. It is more than 1 foot high. Well done. With the bones of these people as materials, a new body was refined and left this mountain range. That the demon looked at Qin Zining and the others and laughed. The formation that sealed off the entire mountain range was laid out by the strong men of several dynasties. Although it has weakened a lot with the passage of time, he still couldn't force it out, and only by using the bones of those powerful descendants of the royal family as materials to refine a new body, can he cheat the formation that blocked the mountains and escape. "Thank you Master Tu Ming for your compliment," Lu Meyer said respectfully. At this moment, Tu Ming injected a wisp of devilish energy into Lu Meyer's body with a flick of his finger, and Lu Meyer's aura suddenly soared, reaching the 5th layer of Luanhai realm. He said, "This is your reward. In the future, when I leave this evil mountain range and lead the Kanglan domain, you, the Cold Moon sect, will be the #1 hero." Immediately, her cultivation made a huge breakthrough, and Lu Meyer was a little uncomfortable for a while. Her face was slightly pale, but she was still excited and said respectfully, "Thank you, Master Tu Ming, for the reward." And this scene left Ling Xiao and the others dumbfounded in shock. "Lu Meyer. You actually pledged allegiance to the demon," Ling Xiao exclaimed. Others also made unbelievable voices. "Everything is unbelievable." Lu Meyer, who has always been kind-hearted and generous, actually pledged her allegiance to the evil spirit, and listening to their conversation, it seems that the entire Cold Moon sect has obeyed the orders of the demons. "Why can't you be loyal?" Lu Meyer sneered, and said, "I, Hanhua sect, don't have any enmity with the demon race. Tens of thousands of years ago, in the Great Demon Sealing War, several major dynasties fought against the demons. At that time, the sects were not strong enough to play any role at all. Later, to seal those powerful and unkillable demons, the various sects were even more incapable, and only a few great dynasties could do it. Therefore, only people from several great dynasties clearly know how terrifying the demons are and how cruel they are to humans. But those sects thought that this was just a rumor spread by several great dynasties to maintain their rule. From the beginning to the end, there was no great malice towards the demon. The Cold Moon sect had already reached a cooperation with Tu Ming here, and even the materials for Tu Ming's hidden cultivation formation were provided by the Cold Moon sect. As a reward, Tu Ming will help the members of the Cold Moon sect to directly improve their cultivation, greatly enhancing the strength of the Cold Moon sect.